Good evening and welcome to Face for the Newsfirst team. I'm Niresh Eliatambi. Um, I thought our guest for this evening was a President's Council named Maithri Gunaratne, but he seems to have possibly changed professions. Good evening and welcome, Maithri.
Yes,
And
I never knew that you had a nasty streak in you.
well, Maitri, you seem to have taken on the role of what do you call it?
Matchmaking.
Matchmaking, Magul Kapua, because I see on your Facebook page, these impassioned pleas for the opposition parties of the right wing to please get together. And of course, this is something which a lot of people have been saying, but you have repeatedly said it, and now that the local government elections are coming up, you seem to be pressing forward with vigor, trying to get the two main opposition parties to come together. That's well, you'd like all the opposition parties together, I'm sure, but pretty much asking the UNP and the SJB to join forces.
Yes. No, Niresh, I think at the moment the opposition is in disarray, and I think I have come for this program continuously, even before the presidential elections, even the parliamentary elections, and I think you would recall that before the presidential election even commenced, I said that both these parties must get together, that is Mr. Sajith Premadasa and Mr. Ranil Wickremesinghe must get together, and if they get together, that they will be able to forge a very, very strong fight to the NPP, and if they don't, very much before the presidential election, I predicted that President Anur Kumara will win. So that is one example. Then thereafter, having passed the presidential election, we came to the parliamentary elections immediately thereafter. Not having learnt a lesson from the presidential election, they go again for the parliamentary election and contest from two different sides. So therefore, Niresh, what happens is opposition is getting weaker and weaker by the day. And now we are coming to the local government election. Now the local government election is almost very, very
yes, the nominations are
call for and all that.
Yeah.
So now the local government members are the foot soldiers of any political party, and it is a sine qua non that you need to get them activated and you need to get them in large numbers for a political party to be active at ground level. So since they have lost the presidential election, lost the parliamentary election, they need to, both these leaders need to learn a lesson from it, and at least now, for the sake of the foot soldier, that's the local government member, the foot soldier who carries out all election campaigns, propaganda and all that, for their sake to get together and forge this green camp together. We all belong to that camp. We are all willing to get together, because there is no point. We also have taken the beaten track, and we realized that we need to get together. I have spoken to several people who have the same thinking like us, and they are all saying, yes, we must get together. Otherwise, we will not be able to forge a very strong opposition or a strong political force in this country. So you are saying that this is the matchmaking I'm trying to do, and we see the need, Niresh. I mean, absolute power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. So these people have got 2/3 majority in parliament, more than a 2/3 majority in parliament, and thereafter, I mean, slowly, if things starts getting bad, we can't see, I mean, great magic being shown. I mean, from their rhetoric of what they promised, they are going back on everything. And one thing we must be thankful is they are following, and they're going following the IMF agreement, and they're doing as they've been told to. Otherwise, the country would have got into disarray. But other than that, we need to have a very strong opposition, and opposition forces should be mustered together.
But Maithri, nominations are due in just over 2 weeks' time.
Yes.
And then the election itself is about 5 or 6 weeks after that. So the fact that the right wing has not got together, hasn't created any alliances, it doesn't speak much of it, does it? I mean, what is going on?
I understand your concern. I understand what you're saying, Niresh. But we must make every attempt, Niresh. Now, we have been in politics. I have been in the UNP. We have contested as an alliance with the SJB. And we have not changed our camp. We have not gone to any other political party. Even my party, United National Freedom Front, I mean, we are all green oriented, and we need to see the need. And I hope Mr. Sajith Premadasa, Mr. Ranil Wickramasinghe, both of these people need to compromise, and they need to, even 5 days for nominations, till we can get this thing together.
But I really don't understand what the issue is, and we have been speaking on this program with many people, including yourself, about the need to have a strong opposition.
Yes.
That is something which is essential for democracy. We have seen how, not just in this country but in other countries, other democracies, when there is no strong opposition, absolute power tends to do a lot of crazy things. And that doesn't mean that it will happen to this government, but then we need that strong opposition.
Definitely.
But then at the same time, Maithri, I don't see any progress.
No, you're perfectly correct. I mean, we also don't see any progress, but still sometimes most of these things happen at the last moment. I mean, they would have not taken it seriously because the election has not been pronounced. And
no, but we knew it was coming.
No, we knew it was coming. I mean, that was it was very, very clear. But now, since it has come, and you said that I have been continuously campaigning for these people and the green forces to get together. I will continue to do that, Niresh, because otherwise we have no hope. Because Mr. Sajith Premadasa, Mr. Ranil Wickramasinghe, both of them have the capacity and the capability of taking this forward, the opposition forward. And whatever said and done, I have been a critic of Mr. Ranil Wickramasinghe, but after he took over as president, within those 2 years, there was a lot of stability which he has brought in, and it is his program that even this government is following. So these are things which are commendable, and now the NPP is essentially a leftist type of political party, which is trying to take a right-wing program forward. So what I'm saying is, what better a person to take it for a right-wing program forward than a right-wing type of person, because these people have to get used to this kind of culture. They are coming from a completely different culture to the right-wing culture. So the best way to take a right-wing policy is a right-wing party. So that's why we are pushing for this, Niresh. Otherwise, not that, no, because for the sake of the country, I mean, there is nothing that, I mean, if they don't get together as a political party, if we decide to contest, it will be advantageous to us, because both these guys are fighting. There will be people who want to join, don't want to join any of them, who will want to join us and contest. But still, then it is not a personal interest that we are looking for. We are looking for the interest of the country, and the country has to have a good opposition, and that is a responsibility of every citizen. And right. You would remember, even during the parliament elections, I contested the parliament elections because we thought that the citizens of this country will want a balanced parliament. But well, we read the situation wrong. They got 159 seats in parliament, and we were just thrown out, and that was the wish of the people. But still, then we, as civic conscious people, as responsible citizens, as people who represent political parties, we took that decision. It's a costly decision we took, but still we took it in the interest of safeguarding and ensuring that there is a strong opposition in this country. If the people don't help us, if the people don't back us, there is nothing that we can do. But the only thing we can do is to offer ourselves to be voted in. And if they don't want, then it's their choice.
Maithri, now, if the UNP and the SJB
Yes.
don't join forces,
Yes.
in my opinion, there's a high likelihood that the right-wing voters, or many of them, would simply stay at home.
Yeah, that's the problem, Nilesh. That is the issue. Now, I must say this, because of the split in the Green camp, I feel, I may be subject, this is subject to correction. I feel, Nilesh, there is about 750,000 to 1 million voters not going to the polling booth, not going to vote. Because whatever said and done, those are Green supporters. They are that in the original, from 1940s, the DS Nayaka vintage, coming those families. I feel that because of this split, that amount of voters are not going in. And in the same tune, what I'm saying is, if we can get all forces together, all Green forces together, it is a formidable setup, Nilesh.
But what I see, Maithri, is a lot of foot dragging when it comes to these discussions or negotiations.
Yeah.
Because right after the presidential election, I posed this question to many guests, especially from the right-wing parties, as to, now the general election was coming up in about 6 weeks' time, and now that the presidential has proven certain points, wouldn't the two green parties, as you call them, the right-wing parties, get together for the general election? But the excuse given by SJBers, by UNPers, was it's too soon, it takes a while to have these discussions, and so on. Fine. But that was late November.
Yeah.
And since then, December, January, February, March, 4-5 months, and they can't
Nilesh,
get together.
If they don't even at this stage take this seriously, as it is, I feel that their leadership is at stake in these respective parties. And if they get together, then there can be some kind of way forward. And if they don't, they cannot secure enough seats in the local government election, I think both leaders will have to call it a day with regard to their leadership in those political parties.
Let's look at that word, leader. Are they leading?
No, they are not.
You usually you lead towards victory, or you're attempting.
Definitely.
Something.
You're inspiring confidence to people.
Yeah, but what's going on now?
No, there is no confidence. They don't inspire any confidence. So that is why, Nilesh, you say it yourself that they are not inspiring confidence. So that is the very reason I'm saying, that is why you need both of these people to get together. Because moment they get together, at least the people who are watching will say, right, these guys are together. It's one camp. It's the Green camp. And Nilesh, whatever said then done, I don't say all of them were angels. They had done their fair share of harm, which has been done by all political parties. But when you take the Green camp, the UNP, the UNP, they have been able to do a lot for this country, for the development of this country, from 77. And the open economy, and bringing in the free trade zones, and the private sector enterprise and things like that. So even the Mahaveli, even the electricity problem.
No, granted. Different governments had their strengths.
They had their strengths. Even Mr. Mahinda Rajapaksa, there's a fair share of blame he has to take. But even ending the war, they need to take that credit. So what I'm saying is, the Green camp, if we can get together, we can easily put forward a beautiful proposal which people will accept. And I mean, even if we can make a significant dent at the local government election, then we can use the same NPP slogan saying now they don't have the mandate they had during the parliament election. Because now the NPP, when they attacked Mr. Ranil Wickremesinghe when he was president, their main plank of attack was, or main way of attacking him was, he was not an elected man. He came on the national list. He didn't have people. So the same thing is applicable here. If at the local government election they'll lose a lot of votes, and the opposition scores, so then we are sending a clear message to the people that the mandate they enjoyed in the parliament election, this 2/3 mandate they enjoyed in the parliament election, is no more.
But what I can't find in this logic, this lack of logic here is, this local government election may be the last election for the next 4.5 years.
Yes.
Because until the next presidential election, which is in 2029, that's when it's scheduled, there's only the possibility of the provincial council elections, which have been delayed by
the last 5-6 years
government. Now. So, there is a possibility that may not be held at all. So this is it. This is where the right-wing parties can prove a point that they are ascending,
ready to take over,
or at least that they are doing better than they did in the last election, which was the general election, where they got wiped out. 62% voted for the NPP. So clearly, I mean, if they can, if the right-wing parties can poll anything better,
definitely,
they would be, they could point to that.
You're taking the fight to their doorstep.
Right, but if on the other hand, this mishmash of parties just can't get together, and many of their voters don't show up, then they might end up getting, the NPP might get more than 62%.
So if that happens, Niresh, if that happens, the UNP and the SJB will be mainly to be blamed. That they have to fairly and squarely take that blame if that happens. And our earnest request is, don't let it happen. Step off the high horse. Compromise. Politics is all about compromises, and see that we get the show on the road and go for this election, this local government election, as a united green front.
Now, one thing that troubles me about our democracy and our lack of transparency, Maithri, is this. Now, if two major parties in the United States were having discussions, you would have the media covering it, every single meeting, every discussion. Then the parties would have to come out and issue statements. It would be very transparent. In Sri Lanka, all we know is, we have been told a few times that there are discussions, that the working committees of the UNP and the SJB have authorized some discussions to be held. That's it.
Yeah.
So we're not told who met whom, where they met, what they discussed. Nothing at all. It's all vague. And
I think there was about 2 or 3 rounds of talks between these two political parties. And what I'm saying is, Niresh, I think.
But this doesn't inspire any confidence.
No, it doesn't. That is why I have been vociferous and I'm always making this request. I mean, at least on behalf of the foot soldiers of both these political parties, for the main leaders to come forward and look at their interests, because all elections, Niresh, whatever the election, it is they who organize the meetings, it's they who go house to house, and it is their voice which takes the message to the people, the general voter. So we need to think about them. And I have been in politics for a long time in the green camp, And I think
you were the governor of two provinces, Central Province and Sabaragamuwa. That was Uva province. Yes.
So we have seen the hardship these people have been facing, and we want a better deal for them. It's simple as that. There is no other personal agenda in it, Niresh.
But once again, Maithri, isn't it almost too late now? Because
it's never too late, Niresh. It's never too late. All these negotiations happen at the last hour. Sometimes it's at the last hour. So let us. I mean, we have got another maybe 2 weeks or 3, maybe 20 days. Maybe 2 weeks to get this thing going. So I hope and pray that they will, Sena Council will prevail, and they will all decide. And if we can decide, I mean, it's not a very big thing. We'll say taking the Colombo Municipal Council. I mean, the UNP can nominate a few names, SJB can nominate a few names, get other political parties, have a discussion, nominate a few names, and have one consolidated list. There is no harm in that.
But then, when you have two or more parties, it takes a while to discuss and come up with the names.
No, we'll say
who's coming from which party for the Colombo Municipal Council.
It's not a difficult thing, Niresh. You get, the Colombo Municipal Council, if the UNP is having some, we'll say X is leading the UNP team in Colombo or the Colombo district, and Y is leading the Colombo Municipal Council for the SJB. You get them to sit around the table. Within 2-3 days, you can sort it out. It's not a big thing. And as a political party, I mean, if that is happening, we will wholeheartedly help that effort, and we will join, and we will also, ask for 1 or 2 seats in the Colombo Municipal Council, and we will give our full support for this.
Now, your party, the UNFF,
yes,
is running this time.
We hope to.
Right.
Because Niresh, now there is another issue. We have, this election was in 2013. We have paid deposits for all our municipal councils. We were running for about 50 local government bodies. Now they delay the election. The Elections Commission delays the election. Government delays the election. They cancel the election. Now the monies which we have paid as a political party, we have paid to the Elections Commission. They are coming with various procedures and forms to return this money to us. Now, as a political party, we have deposited the money in the name of a political party. So the easiest thing is for them to send us a check to the political party's account, returning this money. Now they are making it so difficult for us to collect these monies. So, I mean, we can't be taxing our supporters and our guys to again give this amount of money to pay these deposits.
And the time period for deposits is on now. Until the 19th of
so this month. Very, very unfair. The Elections Commission is responsible for delaying this election. Actually, they should have gone to court against the government and seen that this election was held, because they took our money. They had the election. We campaigned for about 2-3 weeks, and at the last moment they postponed this election. So it is their fault, and now they are further penalizing us. They are further penalizing us, saying we have to go personally to the districts and collect the money. Now just imagine, Niresh, as a general secretary of the party, you will have to go to that person and collect the money. So it is not practical. We are a recognized political party. I mean, if they have recognized us, if the money is with them, they can send a check to us and say that the monies have been returned. Without doing that, this commission, I must say, when Mr. Mahinda Deshapriya was there, he was very much more flexible, and he understood the problems and the difficulties of political parties. Now these people don't seem to understand. Each district returning office has a different procedure, different guidelines, different rules. So it is extremely difficult to function with these people.
Well, one hopes that these things won't happen in the future.
No, it's happening.
Yeah,
It's happening now, and I don't think the future is going to be any better because they don't seem to be even taking any suggestions. And now, when the political when this election is going to be held, I mean, isn't it the duty of them to call all political parties and find out what we have to say? There is nothing like that. They are just doing exactly what they want. This is actually shocking. It has never happened before. Normally, they call all political parties, they discuss, and we have made very valuable suggestions. They have accepted them, they have adhered to it, but now they are just haphazardly doing exactly what they want, and each returning officer has its own rules and regulations.
Well, if that is correct, that's certainly not a good situation.
No, it's not a very good situation.
Right, and we hope that the Election Commission officials will take heed of Mr. Gunaratne's remarks here, because it would affect the other parties as well.
Or everyone. It is affecting every other political party. And the other thing is, I mean, for a democracy to function, political parties are a must. And we play a major role in getting this democracy to function, and other political we cause pressure to be inserted on other political parties. So everyone has to perform. I mean, we may not now. We had altogether 30 candidates, 30 members in 2018, and we were very hopeful that we will get much more than that this time. But when they don't return the money, and when we have to go around collecting the money from district to district, I mean, it puts off us, it is off-putting to contest an election, Niresh.
Absolutely. And to refresh our viewers' memories, or if they don't know yet, the deposit period is on right now, and it's up to the 19th of this month. And then, of course, the nomination period is from the 17th of this month up to the 20th of this month, and it closes at 12 noon on the 20th of March. So and right after that there will be a discussion, a meeting, and at that point we expect to be told the date of the election. So it's just a hop, step, and a jump, isn't it?
Yeah.
We have the Aurudu New Year.
Yeah, but I think it will be the elections will most probably be held in the month of May.
Right.
In the month of May.
Right, but that's not very far at all.
No, because
right.
It generally takes they give about a 45-day period, Niresh, for the candidates to conduct the election. Between 45 to maybe 60 days. That's a discretion of the Elections Commission. So once the nominations are closed, it'll take up to maybe May for the elections to be held.
Right. So right now it seems very much like a one-horse race with the NPP, which is unfortunate.
I wouldn't say one-horse race, because I personally don't think they have been able to deliver whatever they have promised. And if you take whatever the rhetoric they spoke about before the elections, they are doing completely the opposite right now. So
But Maithri, the election is where the other political parties can show that the people, whether the people are satisfied or not satisfied.
So that is the very reason, Nilesh, I'm even now again saying that's why we need to get together. All opposition forces need to get together. We cannot be going on personal agendas. And if we do that, if we can show of strength during this election, then everything is for the taking at the next election, which is going to come.
Absolutely. Because, as I said before, we are unlikely to have any more elections for about 4.5 years.
Yeah? You're perfectly correct.
Right. And that is a very long time. But for some reason, Maithri, I wouldn't be surprised if in 4.5 years' time, you and I are still discussing
the
this
same thing.
Absolutely the same topic about two parties and their political leaders who would probably be the same leaders at that point. I mean, that's just a disastrous situation for democracy.
Definitely.
I mean, doesn't matter who wins or who loses, but as a media person who's been around for 35 years in this trade, I've seen what happens when there is no opposition or a very weak opposition.
We have seen it all over the world.
Yeah, it's
we have
no
seen it
good
all
at
over the
all.
world.
Right, and it's usually caused by the opposition itself. It's not.
No, their stubbornness.
They're stubborn.
stubbornness.
Exactly.
And there's a stubbornness. It's self-centered. I mean, they must realize and come to terms that it's all a matter of getting together with everyone and rallying these forces together. Now, for instance, Nilesh, you take Mr. Mahinda Rajapaksa, right? I mean, he's a very good politician, and he was able to rally all forces and keep them together, with different Communist Party, the various forms of the red parties together, and ultimately even the JVP backed him at certain stages in 2005, 2010. I mean, they in 2005 they officially campaigned for him, and that's the election he won in 2005. So he was able to get diverse people with various opinions, various political colors to get together. That was his success. So why can't the Green Camp learn from this? Why can't they learn? I mean, Mr. Ranil Wickremesinghe, Mr. Sajith Premadasa, it is time for them to learn. And it's time for them to, at least Mr. Ranil Wickremesinghe has proved himself. But Mr. Sajith Premadasa, it's a matter of proving himself. And if he does not make a serious attempt now, then is he also going to expect to be the next presidential candidate in 2028 or 2029?
These are the questions to ponder on.
Oh, definitely.
Because we haven't really seen very much change in the top leadership of either party. At the mid-level you do get some changes, but one can't see in 5 years' time any others coming as presidential candidates. Of course, 4.5 years, it's a long time.
Long time.
A lot of things can happen. But if you had a crystal ball and looked into it, you might see the same candidates next time. So, and we can assume that President AKD would be the candidate from the NPP.
Definitely.
So we're going to have the same choices next time.
And they will be laughing. The NPP will be, I mean, they will be, I mean, so happy that the opposition is in disarray like this. I don't think ever before it has been so bad.
In fact, they are laughing. I mean, you see that in Parliament. It's just, they're not taking the opposition seriously at all, which is a pity.
Well, definitely. So, the people who are in the opposition are letting it happen, and they see it in Parliament, and still they don't realize that they need to change.
That's very unfortunate, very unfortunate indeed. But Maithri, in other democracies, you often see, okay, lose an election,
Out you go.
The leader steps down.
Yeah.
He or she will probably stay in the party, but doesn't come forward again.
No.
Unless there's really no choice. You see this in the UK, for example.
Definitely.
I mean, without elections, they had so many prime ministers come and go because they lost the confidence of Parliament and of their own party. So then they step down. Another person from that same party takes over, and there you have it. But that's democracy.
That culture is we don't have that culture yet. I don't think we are mature enough, and we think that okay, it is so and so and him alone who can only lead this party, and he also thinks like that.
So they seem to believe, our politicians seem to believe, by and large, in many parties, that they own the party.
Oh yes, yes.
It's not so in all parties, of course, but in many parties, they've simply been around for so long. I mean, there are MPs who have been in Parliament 40, 50 years. I mean, that's quite ridiculous.
No, but you cannot say ridiculous, Nilesh, because they are being elected. whatever said and done, I mean, if a person has been elected for 40, 50 years, that's a choice of the people. So people have
But sometimes, Maithri, they are actually not elected, but they are then appointed on the national list.
No, but
those things happen as well.
That happens, but having been appointed on the national list, I mean, next time they contest and they are elected. So you can't, 50 years, and out of the 50 years, we'll say maybe once or twice they may have come on the national list, but the rest of the time they have been elected. So you have to accept it. I mean, whether you like it or you and I like it or not, people's choice. We have to, how unpalatable it is, we have to respect that. That's
but
a democracy.
People have to be given the choice, and in this case,
people are given
right
the
now,
choice, but people, I don't know, for some reason, they choose to vote on the same lines. They have also not changed. The voter also has to take the blame. They are also not looking for new people. So it's an unfortunate situation, because none of this is solely being done by the political parties itself. It is the voter also who votes these people in. So the responsibility has to go to the voter and people who are going to vote even in the future.
Now, Maithri, you're quite critical of the performance of this government.
Yes.
And of course, there have been quite a few stumbling blocks along the way. And I recall when we last met, we were talking about the fact that more decisive action is required. Do you see that happening?
No.
Does that surprise you?
No, it doesn't surprise me, because I feel that they never expected to get power. And
but surely, Maithri, by about last August, September, it became
the way they are
quite
acting,
apparent.
The way they are acting, they are still acting as if they are in the opposition. The government is still acting as if they are in the opposition. And the other thing is, Niresh, this. Now, you will take the SOEs, the state-owned enterprises, just one example. Now, are they going to maintain these? How long are they going to maintain these SOEs? How long are they going to maintain
the loss-making ones?
The loss-making ones. I mean, out of the 400 odd SOEs, profit-making SOEs are maybe a handful, maybe 5 or 10 maximum. But the bulk of it is all loss-making SOEs. Now, for instance, Sri Lankan Airlines. How long are they going to keep pumping in money? How long are they going to pump money to the other SOEs? Why haven't they taken a decision on this? Are they going to run it? So, if they are running it, have they shown that they are running it better? So these are matters they will have to come and account for. They need to take decisive action on these issues. That is one. Then the other thing is, there is now 2026, 2027, we will be called upon to start paying our loans. Then we need to increase our production. We need to increase our exports. We need to bring in more foreign currency. What is the plan we have for that? Now, even the tourism industry, I was told, I mean, I'm subject to correction, that the minister has met the industry only once. So, are they serious about it? And tourism, we have the natural infrastructure. All we need is to get the planes to bring the tourists in here. The private sector is driving it. Natural beauty is there, so people are coming into Sri Lanka. We have the private sector has been able to get that going. What are they doing to improve it? These are matters which this government has to come with concrete plans. Then how are we going to increase our foreign currency? Our education system. We can make this an hub, education hub. So many possibilities. Health hub. India I mean, you would have realized about 2 weeks ago there was a huge cloud over Sri Lanka, and people are getting ill. And apparently that's a cloud which was over India, which has come here, and it had so much of air contamination. People are getting sick here.
Absolutely, there were warnings on the air quality index.
Air quality.
Yes.
Now we are a country. I mean, other than a rare situation like that, our air is very pure and clean. Water is pure and clean. Country is green and clean. So these are factors which we can sell. We can get more and more Indians to come here. You don't need to go to Asia, to the West. So what are we doing towards this? Do you see anything, Niresh? Do you see anything?
To be fair, I've seen a lot of plans.
But plans are good if they're implemented. Who is implementing these plans?
Now, Maithri, a lot of people say, give them more time.
Yeah.
They've been in office only a few months.
Yes.
What's your view? Do you buy that?
No, I don't buy that. Now, I think we post these questions once before. Or we'll say you hire a CEO of a company for your company. Sirasa hires a CEO, and when you hire a CEO, you expect him to start firing from the day he starts. You hire him, and if he asks for 6 months time to show performance, is he going to inspire confidence?
Not much, no.
That much. So here, the people who voted for them, they know that they are disappointed, but their compromise is, no, we'll give them a little more time. Fine. Give them the time.
But Maithri, we keep coming back to this same point, which is that since the opposition is so weak, the people don't have much choice, do they?
No, that is one aspect, Niresh. But what I'm saying is, people have voted this NPP to perform, to deliver. Right. So, are they going on those lines? I can't see it. I mean, if I hope I'm not biased. I can't see it. I mean, if it is happening, all and good, we are all happy. But we can't see this happening. Now, for instance, even national security is, I mean, the rhetoric which was uttered before the election, and now again, what happens is, Niresh, now the national security, when you find people being shot in a courthouse, that message is going to the world within seconds. Okay, and when that happens, then you take dengue, you take mosquito-borne diseases. All that is at a very high rate in the country. Now, the president started this Clean Sri Lanka program. If that was successful, then those statistics must come down rapidly. So, if it is not coming down rapidly, either the Clean Sri Lanka program is not happening, and then if the security situation is not proper, those messages are also going out of the country. If foreigners get to know that the Sri Lanka is a dengue breeding ground or a chikungunya breeding ground, people coming here, you think foreigners are going to come? No. So it takes so many things, Niresh, to see that the tourism and people will come to Sri Lanka. And for instance, you come into Sri Lanka through the airport. The immigration, they are angry that you are coming into Sri Lanka. Have you been to come into Sri Lanka recently?
Not recently, no. I'm afraid the dollar has gone a little beyond my reach for the moment.
But you ask anyone who travels into Sri Lanka, now you go into another country like Singapore or Malaysia or Indonesia.
They're happy to see you.
They're happy to see you. Here, they're angry to see you once you come into Sri Lanka. Then you go into the duty free. It's another. It's like
It's worse than PETA.
It's worse than PETA. The duty free.
Yes.
Then you come to the customs. They are like hawks there. Then after that you come to the gate to your departure lounge, and you find the van guys all fighting, the transport people fighting. Now, are these pleasant sights to see? I mean, this same thing I think I have said in this program some time ago when there was a different administration. It didn't change even then. So at least now the tourism minister, if he feels that this is correct, this can be changed. This can be changed. So these are things where, Niresh, I mean, we expect this government to see this. They say that they are aware of it, then they can change it. And then if it happens to that end, that brings a very much better culture for the tourists to come into Sri Lanka. And I know some areas in the south, Veligama, in that area, it's a different mafia which is running those areas. I mean, having spoken about this, I don't know whether they will come and I will also bite a bullet one day. But the fact is that different groups have taken over areas, and there is a different law. The police are hand in glove with those guys, and they are calling the shots in those places. And as a result of that, there are a lot of people who are deciding not to stay in Sri Lanka and go. So maintaining law and order, seeing that it is done properly, is very important to ensure that tourism and investment will come here, Niresh. At least this is one thing which will bring in tourists. We don't have to do much. We have the natural beauty. I was watching one of these TikToks recently of a lady saying that this is a beautiful country to come. Very nice people. So much of goodwill. So much of goodwill. All we need to do is to facilitate these people and see that they are not harassed and things like that.
But that's been a perennial problem, hasn't
but
it?
Niresh, governments are appointed to stop it. That is their responsibility. If they cannot, they must go and let someone who can do it. There is no excuses. You can't ask for time. All the king's horses, all the king's men are with them. Then they can do it. They have to do it.
All the king's horses and all the king's men, but where's Humpty Dumpty in this? With the opposition or not? And we're almost out of time. So one final question. Your party, the UNFF, what's your strategy if you all are coming forward?
No,
which
actually,
looks
Niresh,
likely.
Most likely what we are saying is, okay, at least if the main two parties cannot get together, at least consider us as a moderate or a mediator, where you can join with us, and we can take this whole thing forward and show these two leaders that, well, there is future. There is a future and there is hope.
Which parts of the country are you going to campaign in? Because it's an expensive business.
This election, Niresh, is not an expensive election, because each candidate has a definite ward or electorate. Now, there is a ward, and that ward has about maybe 5 to 6 Grama Sevaka divisions, maybe about 6,000 votes, about 2,000 to 2,500 households. So it is not an expensive election. People have to go house to house, meet their friends and relations and neighbors, and canvass their vote. So therefore, this system is a system which we have been fighting for a long time. And thanks to Mr. Maithri Sirasa, he is the one who bought this local government election. So we are asking for the parliament election also to be like that. The parliament election also to be the seat by seat, because otherwise it's impossible. Now, a candidate in Colombo for the parliament election has to come from Colombo up to Avisavella. It's not easy.
That's not easy.
But when it comes to the local government, Niresh, I mean, it's only 6,000 households.
It's walking distance.
It's walking distance, and you've got 45 days. Even if you visit 100 houses a day, you can cover that during that period.
And you don't have to have this expensive...
no posters, no cutouts, no stages, no
yeah.
speech, nothing. You just go and meet your people and talk to them, and you solicit their vote. So therefore, it is not an expensive business. And this is an election which we can bring in good people into politics. This is an election where if we'll say you want to contest in your area, okay, you can go, and if you have a political party, if people are accepting you, if you have been doing social service there, you can say I'm coming forward. You can offer yourself as a candidate. There is nothing much you have to spend. Of course, you have to go house to house and you will have to meet people, and there is I'm not saying it's zero expense, but comparatively it's less. I mean, with 100,000, 150,000 rupees per candidate will be a very good amount to spend, and I mean, that is also too much. If anyone is spending more than that, that person has to be questioned and checked, because how is he going to make that money thereafter? Because these are the
practical questions.
These are practical questions, and you need to, if a person is spending millions and millions and millions to get into that position, then that itself should be suspicious. So this system, this ward system will bring in definitely a new type of candidate. Now that happened in 2018. 2023 it was postponed, so we hope now this election after election, people are sick of elections. So that is the biggest problem we are having. Otherwise, now in 2023, when the nominations were called, the enthusiasm was superb. But today, there is no enthusiasm at all.
But if it were a close fight, Maithri,
yes,
I mean, this is like a cricket match or a rugby match. If you have a rugby match where you know that it will be 70-0, you're not going. Even if you're on the winning side, why go? Because it's hardly a match, right? Yep. So in the same way, elections, if you believe that your party is not going to win, is going to get wiped out by a landslide, you might not show up. And at the same time, the strange thing is, even the party which is likely to win, they may not have that many votes either. I mean, it's a strange situation.
No, what you're saying is, you're saying the voter turnout will come down.
Yes.
I think that will happen, Nilesh. Because people are sick of now 3 elections consecutively, within 6 months, 3 elections. So people are now getting tired about elections, and even having voted with a lot of hope, they have not been able to see much difference. So that I think that apathy is going to cause more and more damage to the voter enthusiasm.
On the other hand, we do live in hope that the opposition would mount a strong challenge. So there's still a few more weeks to go.
Definitely. And, don't give up hope.
Yeah, because it's good for democracy to have a strong opposition, even if it doesn't win. And that's all the time we have for you this evening. My thanks to Maithri Gunaratne.
Thank you very much, Nilesh. It was a pleasure being with you.
President's Council and leader of the UNFF. Thank you very much for being with us.
It was a pleasure.
And thank you to you at home for watching. Don't go away, because the news is coming up next. Have a great evening.